He didn't see her badge. He only saw her skin. But when he struck her across the face, the quiet street froze, because in just one moment, that angry black woman he thought he could intimidate became the highest-ranking officer in the department. And when she finally spoke, every word cut deeper than any punishment he'd ever faced. The slap echoed through the quiet suburb like a thunderclap of injustice. Neighbors peeked from behind curtains, their eyes wide with disbelief. The woman stood still, her cheek burning but her gaze calm, steady, unbroken. The officer's chest rose and fell, heavy with adrenaline and authority he thought he owned. Her name was Captain Maya Brooks, but he didn't know that yet. To him, she was just another problem on the street, someone to be silenced, not respected. Maya had returned from her morning run, her mind at peace, her badge tucked inside her pocket. She had built her entire career on discipline, fairness, and quiet strength. But in that instant, under the harsh glare of flashing lights, decades of earned honor meant nothing to the man standing before her. "Show me your ID," he'd barked moments earlier. And when she reached for her pocket, his fear mistook her movement for defiance. Now the sting on her face wasn't what hurt most. It was the realization that after everything she had sacrificed, after years of serving her country and her community, she was still seen as a threat. Maya had once led soldiers through war zones, pulling them out of burning vehicles, patching wounds with trembling hands. She'd written letters to mothers whose sons would never come home. She'd stood before grieving families and promised that their loss would mean something. But here, on a quiet American street, she was just a suspect. The officer's breathing slowed as he saw her expression, not rage, not fear, but something colder. Unshaken calm. That silence unnerved him more than any protest could. She reached into her waistband, slowly, deliberately, and pulled out her badge. The golden insignia caught the morning sun. Time seemed to stop. "Slap me again," she said softly, her voice like iron wrapped in silk, "and see what happens." Behind her, the police car's radio crackled. Officers arriving on scene recognized the face now staring them down. The whispers spread like wildfire. "That's Captain Brooks. She's internal affairs." The color drained from the man's face. The same hand that had struck her now trembled at his side. He had no words, only the sound of his pride collapsing under the weight of truth. Maya didn't move closer. She didn't raise her voice. She simply looked at him. The kind of look that made a man confront who he truly was. "You wear that badge," she said quietly, "but you forgot what it stands for." Her words cut through the air like the crack of a gavel. Every bystander felt it. Every officer nearby lowered their gaze. Maya turned away, the sunlight tracing the outline of quiet dignity across her face. She didn't demand an apology. She didn't need one. Her power didn't come from the badge. It came from the integrity that badge was supposed to represent. Later that afternoon, the officer stood outside the precinct waiting. When she finally walked past him, he tried to speak, but she didn't stop. She simply said, "Respect isn't given." It's revealed when the world is watching. And in that moment, the lesson hung in the air like scripture. Because justice, she knew, isn't always loud. Sometimes it walks in silence, carrying truth like a torch in the dark. Weeks later, the department released a statement. Training reforms, disciplinary actions, new leadership initiatives. But no press release could capture the real change that happened that day. It wasn't about rank or punishment. It was about a mirror being held up to a system that forgot its reflection. In a world quick to judge by what it sees, Captain Maya Brooks reminded everyone that true strength doesn't need to shout. It stands tall, even after being struck, and lets truth do the talking. Where are you watching from? Comment below what you think justice should look like when silence speaks louder than words. And remember, sometimes the calmest voice carries the greatest power.